February is here, and Benfica will be busier than the lawyers for the Super Dragões. We start up with a quarterfinal game against Vizela. Then we have a trip to the Castelo, and we have the Toulouse double fixture as Benfica debuts in this year's Europa League. That much more tonight, another podcast.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic, with you as always every week, and also with you, Cristiano Oliveira. Cristiano, como é que é, amigo?
Not every week. De vez em quando, sometimes às vezes.
Sometimes às vezes.
What's going on, Alfredo?
Same old shitaki. How about you?
Just messing up my beauty sleep time, you know? This is way past my bedtime, but I'm making a sacrifice to be here to talk.
Hey,
to you about our beloved Benfica.
Life is about sacrifices. Who's not here today is Dave de Oliveira. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but he's with us in spirit. Sent me a message earlier. He's with us. Want to say hello to
the...
Vai lá.
Pasmana vai pro banco. Pasmana Dave pro banco. That's it.
Não, esta semana não foi convocado para a semana vai pro banco.
That's it.
Want to say hello to the Freddies that have joined us this early on. Vamos embora. Eric Amaral, Boris Negarosa. I haven't seen Boris in a while here. And Tony Fig, as always. Tony's always a regular. Boa noite, Tony. Tudo bem, Boris? Smash the like button.
Benfica ganhou.
Aparecem todos.
Boris aparece.
Aparecem
fellas?
todos.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, as we're doing, let me do it. Hold on. There it is. Not being a hypocrite. I've smashed it myself.
Boris, it's 9:35 here in the evening, New York time. That's where Chris and I are.
Peraí, tens que dizer 21:35.
21:35. Yeah, in my car I have 21:35. My kids always yell at me. Why do you have the time at 21:35? Can't you tell?
That's army time.
Can't you tell whether it's night or day by looking outside the window? Chico Marcelina. I got confused. Chico Marcelino, Aussie Benfica, Del Tasca, Kevin. What's happening?
Look at Kevin showing off. He's in Havana.
Listen, guys. Olha, guys. For this.
Leva block. That's it. Já não te passo mais a bola. That's it.
3 meters in freaking where he's at in Canada, and he's in Havana all of a sudden. I hope you got a nice stogie with you, Kevin. It's nice. Nice, but here we are, man. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on episode 516, which is what we're up to. We will look back at the game against Gil Vicente. We'll look ahead to the quarterfinal match against Vizela, and we got a trip to to Guimarães, where Portugal was born. I think that they say Arcos de Valdevez, where Portugal is born. Guimarães is where Portugal is born. I get confused sometimes. I just know that Guimarães is, you got the statue of Dom Afonso Henriques, which to me is always going to symbolize the center of Portuguese, the Portuguese kingdom. And maybe Chico Marcelino can educate us a little bit. Liberal is here.
Chico's going to sleep. Chico said, I just came to say hello. You start talking about history. He's like, I got to go to sleep. I'm out. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Thank you, Chico. Appreciate it. But yeah, Alfredo, look, I'm not a Portuguese history buff.
Primeira capital, diz o Boris.
Okay?
A primeira capital.
Guimarães, as far as I know, Guimarães is where Portugal was conquered, I guess. I don't know. Não percebo nada disso, mas... Something like that. But at the end of the day, in Portugal, and that's all that matters. Moving on. Kevin says, I'm so lucky. My hotel room as RTP.
Epa!
So I get to watch the game on Thursday.
Living large in Cuba, and you get RTP in Cuba, man. That's some serious stuff right there.
Hey Kevin, if you see Vivo around, tell him I said what's up. Alfredo, you don't know that's a kid movie. Alfredo, it's a kid reference, kid movie.
I don't watch those movies anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, but Manny Valadão is here also, as always. We're missing the other Valadão brother. Gaidola is missing too, and you guys don't think I know who's here and who's not. And I know those who watch and don't comment, and we don't know that you're here, but look, you're all welcome.
You're like Santa Claus. We know you're naughty or not.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get this underway. We're trying to stall a little bit for folks to come and join us, but let's just get this done. Let's get to bed. Benfica hosted Gil Vicente in Estádio Luz this past I want to say Sunday. It was Sunday, right? Sunday. I'll give you the lineup. Trubin was in goal. Ba, Silva, Otamendi, and Morato, Neves, Antino, Di Maria, Aursnes, Rafa, and Cabral. Maybe not too many surprises here, right? We didn't know whether or not Ba was going to start coming off an injury, but there he was, which meant that Aursnes was back in the midfield in a role that he had so much success last season, which meant that João Mario was relegated to the bench, and it wasn't perfect, right? Because we would have liked to watch Carreras get the start, get the reps. But Aursnes on the midfield, it was pretty good to me. What'd you think of the lineup, Chris?
I mean, to me, the biggest surprise of it all was the fact that they found enough policemen to work the game. I don't have one of those. I don't have to run. I'm not in the studio today, so sorry, guys. It's a little corny. I don't have fun in me. But all jokes aside now. Yeah, I mean, look, no real surprise when you consider Bach gets thrown back into starting 11. So obviously, Aursnes has to move elsewhere. Aursnes is going to play every single second of every single game, every possible opportunity he gets. So he had to play elsewhere. And besides that, João had to obviously make way in order for Aursnes to get bumped up. So I'm not really surprised by anything else. Morato is Mr. Reliable for Roger Schmidt at the moment. We all like to see the kid Carrera, but as we talked about, right, when Benfica acquired him, he's very talented going forward, but obviously has his limitations on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Roger is, picking between a good attack and a good defense. And so he's choosing to go with the defense. If you don't allow goals, you can't lose. At some point, I think he's going to continue to get some more playing time. And at some point, he's going to get a start here and there. Not sure if he's ready to be an everyday starter for Benfica. The only thing I can tell you is that he's a much better option going forward than Morato is, so that obviously works in his favor.
Yeah.
But at some point, he'll get slowly worked into the lineup. Morato's still going to play. And look, as long as Benfica keeps winning these games, I guess we can all, how do I put it? For lack of a better word, we could all swallow these non-changes by Roger Schmidt. Obviously we'd like to see some of these kids thrown in, but as I said, 3 points is all that matters. He'll get some playing time, he'll get some more experience, and at some point, he'll get thrown in there. I know he will.
Yeah. It's only going to be a matter of time, and I understand that if he's not ready yet, certainly Ba, with understanding the system and knowing the system, and also being familiar with the squad, seemed like a no-brainer as long as he's 100%.
They're saying I'm echoing. I'm
sorry.
But
I fixed it. I fixed it. It's
okay.
Good now. I had two. I had two audio inputs rather than just.
Oh, so it was your fault.
It was my fault.
I get the blame.
I keep
Manny
freaking up, man.
And Liberal and Boris, they're all blaming me, but the culpa é sempre tua, and I'm the one that gets totally shut.
No, it was when you spoke. There was the echo, but it was on my end. But we're good now. We're good now.
Okay, Bruno Gil Rodrigues just popped up. So La Rapaz, boa noite, Montreal.
Yeah,
Boris good feels like ad left kicked in there. Bro, I should have brought my glasses. I'm getting old. That's when you can tell you're getting old because now all of a sudden I need reading glasses.
Manny Valadon said like the edibles kicked in. Yeah.
Diogo Reis is here.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just say...
from Montreal or Toronto,
Bruno Rodrigues, I always fuck up where he's from, so he made sure he mentioned
he's Montreal.
Because I've said Quebec before. I think I don't know if Kevin is in Quebec. No, he's in Havana now, but I don't know if Kevin, and that's where I got mixed up.
He's Montreal too. Kevin is from
Montreal
out there.
also?
I always see him putting pictures of the poutine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
On Twitter, yeah, he's a Montrealan, like he's from somewhere around there.
Yeah, he also is a fan of the MLS team in Montreal.
Diogo, my man, Diogo keeps sending me private messages on Instagram. He's from Toronto.
Is he sending you dirty pictures?
Bunch of good Canadian. Let's get back to Benfica.
Back to Benfica.
Forget geography. You and I in geography, we don't go hand in hand. So let's get back to Benfica.
Yeah. And look, quite a fast start by Benfica. Cabral header in the 5th minute, hit the upright. Gil was pressing high, and I was surprised by the posture that Gil Vicente came to Stade de Luge, and more and more do we see teams coming to Stade de Luge trying to dispute the game with Benfica eye to eye. And usually that doesn't work well, but if you want to remain true to your values and think that this is just a challenge to the system that you've been playing the whole year, then that's how you adopt. You live and die by your beliefs and by the way you play, and that I understand. I hate the teams that come to Stade de Luge and play with 10 guys behind the ball. I understand the thought process behind it, but it doesn't seem like they want to come and play. They just want to come in and not allow goals and try to get the points, whatever. But it's a much more entertaining game when teams come to play and teams are not just sitting there defending. So, like I said, fast start for Benfica, 15 minutes in after the missed header by Cabral, which was a much harder header than the first goal. He was by himself, he was a little bent, was able to direct the ball, and Benfica was on the board after an assist from a corner from Cabral, and Benfica hasn't been scoring a lot of games.
Di Maria.
Who did I say? Who did I say?
Cabral.
Yeah, Di
Maria.
You make
it sound like Cabral marcou o canto, Cabral cabeceia, Cabral é uma máquina.
A Cristina é como aquele gajo que faz a festa, manda os foguetes, apanha as canas.
Do it all. One man show.
É polivalente, caraças. And then in the 35th minute, 2-0 off of an assistant play from João Neves, off of another corner. It was a loose ball popped up. João Neves boxed out the defender, was able to turn around, hit a Trivela. I think he was looking for Antonio Silva on the second post. The ball ended up deflecting and went into the goal. Benfica was up at 2-0, and it was.
Yeah, I thought I was a little afraid the referee was going to call some way somehow this is going to wind up in VAR. And they wouldn't call that back. But obviously, when you seen the close-up replay, it seems like the dude was anticipating the thought and ready to dive, because we've seen that in Portuguese football over the years. If you breathe on a defender and he falls, the referee just blows the whistle, and all of a sudden the play is dead. So credit to them for getting that right. Yeah. João Neves is the dude's a machine.
Yeah.
Cabral's playing really well. I mean, Benfica started this game really well. I know on the previous podcast, I criticized the way Benfica had been playing at times under Roger Schmidt. But Benfica this time came off the gates looking for the goal, looking to get that lead, looking to get comfortable at home in front of their home fans.
Yeah.
And I like the attitude. But once again, once they go up 1-0, all of a sudden,
yeah,
Gil just steps it up. And Benfica is playing the next 10, 15 minutes on the back foot. And look, I understand. football is a game of 11 versus 11. 11 men with 11 left feet and 11 right feet. A bola redonda. I get the hell, but there's no way in hell that a team like Gil Vicente, who is a respectable team in the Portuguese campeonato, but with decent players, no way Benfica should be up against the ropes for such an extended period of time like they were in a game like this. I just don't understand. And then obviously you get that one corner and then a moment of brilliance. Again, the individual performances at times, the moments of individualism by these spectacular players. João Neves makes a little something happen. The ball deflects. All of a sudden, you got a little bit more breathing room. But yeah, there's still things that need to be worked on, that Benfica needs to work on in order to get more comfortable in some of these games, so we can get some of these other kids into the game, as you were talking about earlier with Carreras and whatever, to get these guys more acclimated and in rhythm, in the Portuguese league with Benfica, with their teammates. So yeah, it's just some things that Benfica still needs to work. I was looking at something, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. But yeah, Benfica needs to there's some things that they need to get the kinks out of.
Yeah, just to read a couple comments, because we don't do a good enough job on the comments. Manny Villadão saying Cabral had a good game on and off the ball. Maybe the fellow Brazilian competition for the spot has helped. Look, I think there was something that we have spoken about here in terms of Benfica had three forwards: Cabral, Tankstead, and Musa. At the time, we no longer have Musa, and still they felt that they had a need to go and get a forward. What this does, there's a couple things in my mind that this does, right? For one, it takes some of the pressure off of Cabral. He was the most expensive forward that we have, well, up until Marcos Leonardo. Most expensive.
No, he still is.
He still is? Okay.
He's still more expensive than Marcos.
He was the most expensive forward, so obviously there's an expectation in terms of what he could produce, needs to score, look to come into the team a little bit overweight, looks better, looks more fluid. And I think that he's also realized that, look, Marcos Leonardo is still trying to get 100% in shape. I'm going to take advantage. I'm also a player that brings something different to the team in terms of box play, in terms of a guy that bangs with bodies with other guys. I think that he's the only guy that Benfica has right now with those characteristics. Leonardo is more jukey. Leonardo likes to come off the box, combine with guys, likes to sneak behind guys. He's not the physical forward that Cabral is. And Cabral is just going to say, look, I'm going to make a case for myself. If I'm not the first choice, then I'm the second choice. And the times that he's been given chances now by Roger Schmidt, he's done well. He's done well, especially when the team feeds him the ball. And I think that he's getting to a point where he's comfortable. He's feeling the love from the massa associativa, dos adeptos. It's a far cry from him flipping off the supporters and getting booed. I mean, he's turned around here, and I think that right now he's doing well. In my eyes, he's doing well. Could he do better, Chris?
You know what I think plays a role in this as well, Alfredo?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you thought of this. Probably you just didn't mention it. But knowing now that, obviously Musa leaves, Marcos Leonardo comes in, Tankstad's been injured. It was kind of like the keys were handed to him. And it wasn't, and so far, he's performing as well, but so far lately, it's been, Cabral, you're the starter. Go out there, do what you got to do. He's not looking over his shoulder for every opportunity that he misses. If 5 minutes later, he's going to get subbed off. I'm pretty sure that plays a role in the player's psyche. And I think it's helped. Obviously, Marcos has come in and scored some goals, as you said, alleviated some of the pressure on Cabral to go out there and decide games for himself. But I think the fact that they're not just sitting there switching strikers left and right like they were at one point, I think that's made a hell of a difference for a guy like Cabral. With all the pressure on him, I think it's made a hell of a difference because he feels that now he can actually play. And if he's out there and he's missing a sitter in front of goal, it's okay because 15 minutes later he'll be in again,
right?
And trying to get to another opportunity to finish. and that goes a long way in a player's confidence. And so, look, credit to him for staying ready. Obviously, things got ugly when you talked about the flipping off the supporters and whatever. Things got ugly a little bit there.
Yeah.
But he's found a way to turn things around. Whether it was by intention of Roger Schmidt or whether it was by just forced to do it because of injuries and because the other guy leaving. But nonetheless, they've gotten it right. It seems like we got a player there now.
Yeah.
He's finishing some of these opportunities. He's creating things on his own. So it's good to see. And obviously, if he doesn't have the pressure on his shoulders that if he doesn't get it right one game, you got a guy like Marcos Leonardo, a fellow Brazilian, a guy that he's very comfortable with, a guy that from everything we hear, he's doing a good job in mentoring and helping the kid acclimate to Portugal. And he knows that he's got that type of player to come off the bench and to help him out and alleviate things. So, look, it's just the perfect storm for everyone right now. But let's not forget, competition is the Gil Vicente of this world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Studios and whatever. Studio we lost, actually. Shouldn't even mention them. But you know what I'm saying? Let's see how competition steps up. Let's see if these guys step up. But it's good to see. It's good to see these guys get on the same page.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, he answered the call. For me, he answered the call. And he's gotten progressively better. And when the team finds a way to associate him and play, then he has a much better chance of performing well. There was one specific game that he was choked out. He was almost on an island, and everything he tried wasn't coming off for him. But it seems that when the team involves him in play, and oftentimes we see him drop a lot deeper than Rafa, that he's successful. He's successful in that. But look, as Cristiano mentioned, after the first goal, there was a lull there in which Benfica took the foot off the accelerator, allowed Gil Vicente to come. They were on top for a while, and then I think that the second goal in the 35th minute, Benfica then saw the half out and was able to really put themselves in a really good position. Second half, 50th minute, Rafa 3-0 off of an Aursnes feed. And then Roger Schmidt started doing some substitutions. It was good to see Carreras get some minutes. Marcos Leonardo also, he didn't play. Gouveia came in. Rollheiser came in. Chris, let me ask you this, and I know that we haven't had a chance to speak.
Leonardo played, Alfredo. Leonardo came in.
No, that's what I said. He came in. Leonardo,
I
Gouveia,
thought you said
Rollheiser.
he didn't play. I understood he didn't play. Sorry about that. The guy that didn't play was Romario. But yeah, I'm sorry. I understood he didn't play. Sorry about that.
But are you surprised that Rollheiser is getting as many minutes as he is, being that he hasn't been in Portugal for too long?
Wait, as many minutes? He came in the 85th minute.
I know, but he's played the game before. He's had minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had more minutes than Carreras, probably. No?
No. He came in the game before what? In the 88th minute? Now he came in the 85th. I don't understand. See, again, I'm not trying to come on here and brag on Roger Schmidt the whole time. But once you go up 3-0, what is Di Maria still doing on the field? Get him off the field. Why are you waiting until the 85th minute when he subbed Di Maria off for Rollheiser? Those are things that, again, that he needs to work on. He made some subs, as you said, the 65th minute, the Neres and whatever maybe. And I think Carrera,
Neres,
62nd, okay.
Yeah.
It was 3, right? Or was it just
Neres
2
and Carreras, and then the 78th, Leonardo and Gouveia, and then the 86th, Rollheiser.
Okay, so 86. So I was saying 84th. So, again, Rollheiser, you're asking me if I'm surprised he's getting, what, 4 minutes? It's just enough time to break a sweat so like that when they wash the uniform and they have reason to wash it. I think he could have done a better job getting a guy like that. If this is a guy that you believe in, that can make a difference, you went out of your way, paid a little bit extra to get the guy in this window because you think he's going to be able to help you out at some point this season. Look, I understand he's been off for a month because of the clausura or apertura, whatever you want to call it. I think it's apertura. Apertura's, finished and the guys had a little bit of a break there. Same thing with the Marcos Leonardo. The season, the first half of the season, whatever it is, because they break it down. Ended and he was off for a month as well. And he's actually played a little bit longer. But yeah, Di Maria is 36. What are you waiting until the 86th minute for? I thought Rollheiser could come in. In the 70, what would you say, 75th, 72nd? Maybe then.
The 78th minute, Leonardo came in for Cabral and Gouveia came in for Di Maria. In the
Okay, he could have
86th
come
minute
in.
for Neves, Olheiser.
He could have came. He could have came in then, if not earlier. He could have came in then. Again,
Yeah,
this
I
is
agree.
a player, Di Maria, who has the ability to change a game on a snap of a finger. But at the end of the day, we need to keep this guy fresh.
Yeah.
We talked about it here on the podcast when Benfica announced the signature that if managed properly, Di Maria still has a lot to give, and he's still giving it, and they're not managing him properly. But once you go up 3-0, Velhinho, let's go. Come sit over here, relax, get some small in you.
Yep.
Let's get these other kids some minutes. Let's get these other kids in rhythm. Let's get them in shape. Because Luis Pamagnan, Di Maria goes down with an injury. Now you're going to have to go to a David Neres who's not in form, who's coming off an injury, 3 months off, and he's barely, you could tell once Roger Schmidt started making, look, this is no fault of his own, but once he started making the subs, the game was broken. All of a sudden, it was just, there was no more intensity on both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides. The game partiu silly. But I think Roger Schmidt could do a little bit better job to get these guys some playing time, get these guys all content, get these guys all in rhythm and shape, and so as good as how do I put it? Things went well, but they could have gotten better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's easy to criticize. It's easy to sit here and talk from here, but it's football 101, man.
Yeah.
When you got a comfortable lead, you take off your most senior guys and give the Poots a run.
Yeah.
So, and the game wasn't in danger at any point.
No.
In the second half, the game was under control.
Not at all.
I thought he could have done it. And and the other thing that really I'm sorry, Alfredo, but the other thing that ticks me off about the whole thing is that by doing this and leaving Di Maria in the game that he had no business being in the 86-minute game that's under control, it feeds that BS talk of Di Maria é comando, Di Maria é comando no Roger Schmidt, Di Maria sai quando quer, joga quando quer. You know what I mean? It feeds into that.
And even Di Maria understands it.
I'm sorry?
Even Di Maria understands it. If the game's 3-0 and he gets yanked in the 73rd minute or whatever it was when he made 78th minute, like he did, he's going to understand. If he gets pulled in the 67th minute in that first batch of subs, he's going to understand. The game's under control. He's got a lot of games yet to play. He's got a manic February to play with tons of games that we'll talk about a little later. And Di Maria's guy has to understand for his own survival and for his own management of his fitness and his health, he needs rest. Because the other thing is that with these older players, if they get hurt, the recuperation is a lot longer than if it was a young kid. So all these guys, they've been around the sport. They know what that's about. They know those valuable rest periods that they need to go into.
Yeah, it may seem like I'm nitpicking, but again, as I stated on the last podcast, it's still things that we talked about, mistakes that he did as a coach last year, and we hoping that he's able to rectify these things. Now, look, as I stated before, he made subs in the 62nd minute, right? It's a lot earlier than when we anticipated. So obviously, he's going in the right direction. But with a guy like Di Maria, I just wish that this guy could stay fresher. I wish that he did manage him a little bit better. And then you got a guy like that, like Bro, as I said, got a ton of potential. It would be nice to see this guy reach it at some point this season before the season's over. I'm afraid to go over some of the chat because there's some good stuff here.
Yeah, Boris is saying Rafa was terrible in the first half. I agree. I mean, that Trivela, it's the first time I've ever seen a Trivela go to the first post. I don't know, maybe he's trying to get cheeky, but usually you use the Trivela because you want to hit the curve on the second post, on the further post. Unless you shank it, do you go to the first post? Because with your dominant foot to the first post, you hit that. You need to hit that straight on with your instep or whatever, or with your what you call pate du pé or chest of your foot. I don't know how that translates. You hit that on a volley. You square off and you hit that on a volley. You only do a Trivela if you want to go far post. And he tries the Trivela and he goes straight to the first post. It's one of those.
But Alfredo, I don't recall the play. I don't recall.
Vai lá ver, vai lá ver.
Não, tem que ver. Mas, again, like, yo, às vezes guys, bro, listen, you hit it with the trivela, bro, you're getting a lot of power behind it. I'd have to see it. I don't know. Like, if you've seen it, I'd take your word for it. But I remember the goal. I just don't remember watching the replays. I was kind of like, all right, good, cool. It's 3-0, keep it moving.
Yeah.
I'd have to sit there and break it down a little bit more. But yeah, Alfredo, that sometimes os gajos tentam coisas que não estás à espera. But that doesn't mean that it was a mistake, though. You know what I mean?
Diogo Reis also says, go ahead.
I was going to say there's some good stuff way up, Alfredo. You started at the bottom.
No, I know that Boris had mentioned something about Eriksen, and I want to talk to that in between this game and the next game, because if we
and the same thing with Fahed too, the Fahed family at the start of the lose.
Yeah, and that was
that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was
you can handle that later.
That was a nice tribute to Faher, obviously by both the stadium and the club and the fan base. I thought it was good. Brun Gil Rodriguez says, for the first time in a long time, it was a quiet game. We like the quiet games. You guys know that.
Love those games, yeah. Carlos Amaro's in the chat. Welcome back, my friend. It's been a while. Hope all's well.
Yeah. Benfica ST is saying, you think João Mário will come back next game? Hope not.
Yeah, he'll come back. He'll be there. I'm not sure if it's in starting 11.
Yeah.
He'll be there.
Yeah, Diogo Reis says Prestiano apparently injured till March. Yeah, from what Benfica was saying, he's got an ankle injury.
Just an ankle.
Yeah, but look, it's not a big deal because I think that he's a future project. I don't know if he was going to get many minutes this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him in the B team, getting some rhythm, getting some game. I don't know if at some point he's going to make his debut for the team this year. He's a kid who's just turned 18, man.
But he'll make the debut. It's okay.
You think?
He'll make the debut this year. And the other thing to touch on Prestiani, I don't know if you were going there. If you were, I apologize. I'm cutting you off once again. But Prestiani's been left off the Europa League roster. They only had 3 slots open. Obviously, 4 guys came in.
Yeah.
And I think the injury actually helped make the decision easier. So he's been left out. Leonardo, Carreras. Why didn't he keep it Fernandez? Alvaro Fernandez is so much easier. Carreras. And who's the other one? Who am I missing? Who's the third guy? That got
I didn't read the list. Maybe the chat could help us. But
no, but there was 4 guys. Oh, Rollheiser. No, I'm so
Rollheiser.
Rollheiser. I'm going crazy. So yeah, Rollheiser, Marcos Leonardo, and Carreras were included. They only had 3 spots open. 4 guys came in, and so Prestiani's obviously been left out. The injury made it easier.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll recover quickly. It's nothing too serious. But yeah, Alfred, I think you'll see him. You'll see him out there at some point this year before the Campeonato is over.
Yeah, Carlos Zamaro is saying about that Rafa play. He missed it. Nothing unusual about what with Rafa. Still only got that guys get behind the defense. The only guy that gets behind the defense, sorry. Rafa is critical part of the team's success, even when he's not at his worst. Look, you're not going to get any disagreement from us. Cristiano and I have had several conversations about Rafa, and while I'm not the biggest fan of Rafa, I have to admit he's the only guy that's bringing that destabilizador. He's got the change of speed. Counts for a lot. He's got some of it. The nice combinations counts for a lot. In front of the goal, he's not what we would hope him to be, but still, he was the only guy outside him and Di Maria, but him more and using consistent and Rafa in the same sentence is a little bit tricky for me. But in terms of what he brings to the game, the speed, the technical ability, the combination play, being able to get behind defenses, I think that he's the one player that we have right now. With Neres coming back, and Neres returned and he's gotten some minutes, now we have another guy. He's also tried Neves behind the forward, which is the position which Rafa plays in. So I don't know. It's going to be tricky. The renewal talks, there was some Paula was reporting today that Rafa was asking for a certain amount of money. I don't know if I didn't read the article in full. But look, at the end of the day, I think that Benfica has to look at, and regardless of whether Rafa has been the only guy that's offered this to Benfica at this junction and in the past couple months, is Rafa's future at Benfica? I don't know. That's a big question.
I don't know if you remember this, but sometime in November, I forget who we played. It wasn't a game it wasn't a particularly good game for Benfica, but I came here on a podcast and I said, guys, as much as we hate to admit it, Benfica has to sign Rafa at all costs because he's the only guy out there causing havoc. He's like all the reasons you just gave. I remember men talking about that on the podcast. And this past week, and Hugo texts me and he says, meu amigo, já tô começando a pensar como tu. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I think you're right. I think we have to re-sign Rafa. As much as he annoys us, the guy is a huge threat. And Alfredo, what's my famous line? You can't teach speed, right? You can't teach size. Those are two things you cannot teach: size and speed. Everything else you can teach. And he's got the one of them, which is speed. The guy misses a lot of sitters, and when he's on, he's just unplayable. And when he's off, he still causes a lot of havoc. And so teams have to be aware of him. But yeah, he does a lot of the little things that we don't notice at times watching on TV, but those runs, opening up space and getting in between defenders and behind defenders. And then he does everything perfect, gets to the goal line and somehow it's a post or shoots it wide, or as you guys are referencing to this Trivela, he just finds a way to fuck things up. But yeah, man, the dude is key, bro. I don't see another player on Benfica that obviously can do what he could do. So it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, there's reports in the media lately about his requests and whatnot. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens between now and the end of the season. He gave that one interview. Remember after he got the taça for the taça, the little whatever trophy for man of the match, and he said, "At least give it to the soldados." This that I'm going to miss. So I don't know if that was a shot. I think that was intentional.
Look,
but yeah, Rafa is,
I think at the end of the day, what you got to think about is that at 30 years old, what kind of money is he asking for? And is Benfica willing to give that to a 30-year-old who, in one seat, and Benfica is just not going to give him a 1-year contract. He's going to want more than that. So you have to think that Rafa's best years are behind him in terms of a player as he gets older loses a little bit of speed, and Rafa's game is all about speed, as Cristiano mentioned. So I think at the end of the day, you kind of got to outweigh, is he worth the money that he's asking for? And again,
yeah, but Alfredo, I don't like the way you approach it.
No, but
sorry.
But go ahead.
I don't like the way you approach it. And again, you're entitled to your opinion. You know I love you, but I don't like the way you approach it when you say, well, you're not going to give them as much money at his age. Well, they're paying Di Maria at 36 a lot more money. You know what I'm saying?
Queres fazer a comparação, caralho. Foda-se.
Nobody's comparing. Nobody. But what I'm saying is, age is not, bro. As long as you're able to play to that level that we expect you to play, that's all I'm referencing.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Otamendi's getting a lot. Otamendi's probably the second highest paid player or third highest paid player on the team right now. And again, I understand they've won World Cups, but nobody's paying players for what they've accomplished before. So Rafa is 30. He's got 6 years on Di Maria, for example. Now, Di Maria is magic, but Di Maria affects games in other ways. Rafa is always running. I mean, the argument could be made. He's not Di Maria. Nobody will ever argue that. But Rafa is probably more important for Benfica than Di Maria is. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's your opinion. For me, no.
So you think Di Maria is more important to this Benfica team than Rafa is?
Yeah. Regardless of whether he could play 90 minutes or at a good clip or 65, 70 minutes at a good condition, I still think that Di Maria is a lot more important on this team than Rafa is. And not just
No, see,
because of status.
I love Di Maria, but there's games where he's gone, and then in 2 plays, that's why he plays. He
Well,
has to
that's
be
the
on the field.
thing.
And then in 2 plays, he changes the game. But Rafa is affecting
Rafa in
the
10
game, whether it's
plays
good or
might
bad.
not change the game.
But he's affecting it, though. That's the difference. He's affecting the game. That's what you got to think about. He's not off to the side, I should say, unnoticeable. Rafa's, you're always going to notice Rafa. Now, like I said to you before, whether it's good or bad, but you're noticing him.
Yeah.
So in terms of what this team needs, Rafa's stretching the field. Rafa's involved. Teams are not to say that teams aren't preparing for Di Maria, which they absolutely are. But Di Maria, we've seen in games where he's been very good, but he disappears. So again, look, I'm not comparing. I'm not making a Rafa Di Maria play. I mean, you give me the guys, both of them at the promise Di Maria all day, every day.
Let's move on. Manny Villadon saying, must admit our bench looked stacked that game. Diogo Reis Carreira has this jawline that reminds me of Zanetti on the left. Can't wait to see him going. Carlos saying, speaking of Rollheiser, anyone else entertain amusing thoughts about what might be in his great grandpa's closet? Yeah, I saw that and I thought that was kind of funny at the same time. And look, we all know that there was a lot of Nazis that escaped Germany, ended up in South America and in different countries, right? In the United States even. So I don't know. I think that's a curious and funny conspiracy, but never know. Zach says, I don't know why everyone blows Aursnes so much. He's a utility player, not a starter. I think he's a starter, bro. Zach says, Diogo says Zach is responding to Zach, so they're entertaining conversation there. Look, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, 3 points for Benfica, valuable win, especially with Sporting not having played as a result of that whole fiasco with the cops calling out and not enough cops being available for the game. To me, I thought that had it not been those shenanigans before the game, I think that maybe they get the game going. 13 guys out of a 29 crew that was assigned to that game. Obviously, it's significant, right? It's a little bit less than 50%. Yeah, but it was important for Benfica to get the win, to go on first place, and regardless of whether Sporting has a game on hand or not, there's still a pressure that Sporting now knows that they definitely have to win their game to get back into first. Shifting gears here now to the Taça de Portugal that takes place this Thursday. Obviously, we don't have stats on the Gil Vicente game because Dave's not here. Benfica will travel up north to play Vizela Thursday, 8:45 local. 9 official games between the two, 8 wins for Benfica, 1 tie. Currently, Vizela is dead last in the Portuguese league. 2 wins, 7 ties, 11 losses. At home, 1 win, 3 ties, 7 losses. On their way to the quarterfinals, they beat Atlético, Estrela da Amadora, and Aroca, and now they will have to face Benfica. They're coming off 4 straight losses. Concerned at all that Benfica might overlook Vizela, might look past Vizela into the Vitoria game that happens this weekend?
No. I think the only concern I have is, will Roger rotate? And if he does a lot of rotation, then obviously, you get concerned a little bit with players obviously playing out of rhythm and whatnot. But they should have enough quality to beat a team like Vizela. My man with the Borneo is not there anymore. He had that team playing good football at one point, even though they weren't getting a lot of W's, but they were playing good football. I don't really fear them much. I think Benfica should have enough in-house to with the starters or rotation, they should have enough to beat a team like Vizela.
Does Carreras get the start?
I hope so. I hope so.
Me too. Yeah, look, I think that it's a game that Benfica needs to take serious, one game at a time. I know that Guimarães is or Vitoria is on Sunday, but you need to win this game in order to progress into the semifinals, where most likely you will meet Sporting, two-legged affair, semifinals, and then the final, which Benfica has missed for quite some time. After that, we have Vitoria this weekend. Game happens on Sunday, 8:30. Vitoria is currently fifth in the Portuguese league, 12 wins, 3 ties, 5 losses. Only 1 loss in the last 10 games played. Last 5 games against Benfica, 3 wins for Benfica, 2 ties. 4-0, 4-0 was the result of the first round. And you heard Cristiano talking about Zé de Boné. Zé de Boné is now the coach for Vitoria. Álvaro Pacheco in charge, and he's done quite well over there. Benfica will be facing Bruno Varela, Nelson Oliveira, who is a player from Benfica's past, as you guys know. It was the next greatest thing that came out of the Seychelles at some point. It was signed by Vitoria during this winter transfer window. And Guimarães is the only other team to beat Sporting this season. Of course, we all know that Benfica beat Sporting already, but before Benfica has Sporting has 2 losses, one of them to Benfica, one of them to Guimarães. Tough game on short rest. More of a reason for Roger to manage the squad and to really give some guys some rest against Vizela, so they could be fully stacked against Guimarães. And Cristiano, we always talk about this. The next game is always the most important, so you always put your strongest team. But when you look at this team, there's guys that could come in, and that we won't see too much of a drop-off in terms of the depth squad.
Yeah, for sure. That's why going back to even I know you asked me about Guimarães, but I'll bring it back to the Estoril game. I didn't understand the starting 11 because if Benfica had beaten Estoril, you'd have to play a final 2 days later against Sporting Braga without rotating players. I mean, were you going to burn guys down? And so now I think he has an opportunity to play against Vizela, rotate some guys, rest the likes of the Marias of this world, the Rafas of this world, make sure these guys are nice and fresh, because playing against that Guimarães team, regardless of whether they're doing well in the table or not, it's always very tough to go out there. These guys get amped up to play Benfica. And now, as you mentioned, under this coach, the guy with the bonnet, they're playing really well under him. So it's going to be very difficult. So it's more of an importance on Roger Schmidt to rotate these guys, make sure that they're fresh, make sure everybody's ready to go, because Benfica can't afford to walk away with anything less than 3 points.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just want to get to some comments here on the chat. Brunjul Rodriguez says Abola says 10 million as a signing bonus and 3.5 million in net salary. For that's the figures that are in front of Rafa. Look, and then there's the prospect of going to Saudi Arabia and having the contract of your life. And really,
but Alfredo,
right.
Not saying Boris, right? But the majority of the people on social media crying about the supposedly 10 million euro signing bonus for Rafa, right? Were the same people that were crying last year when Grimaldo, you know me, I've never been a big Grimaldo guy, but they were the same people that were crying when Grimaldo was asking for an absurd signing bonus. So think about it: had Benfica signed Grimaldo to a $10 million signing bonus, right? With the 10, not two. With a $10 million, like, wouldn't it have been better than spending $13 million on the other guy plus, or $14 million, whatever it was, plus his salary? I mean, don't get too caught up in these numbers, man. These guys are going to ask. It's called negotiating. They're going to ask for the best that they could get, and then at some point, the team will either meet them halfway or somewhere along the line. But that's look, the business of football. It takes money to sign players. So.
Carl is saying, I'm a big defender of Rafa, but speed is the first thing to suffer at 30 plus. Diogo Reis says, if we don't sign Rafa, who replaces him in that position? Look, I think that right now you have Neres. You got other. We also have been talking about Alcakshu is a guy that could play behind the forward. We've also said that. So, I mean,
You
we
got
don't know, man.
Rottweiler, you got Prestiani, you have Neres, you have Koksu. Benfica's not going to sit there quiet. And look, at the end of the day, don't forget, if if Cabral keeps playing the way he's been playing lately, obviously he's going to get better scoring goals. Marcos Leonardo is a guy that can play that role because he is not a prototypical box guy. He's a guy that could actually come outside, has a touch, to link up with his players. You see him doing that now, a lot of giving goals. So he's a guy that could play that role. He's not going to be moving around as much as Rafa, but he can play. He can play that false nine role, that link, which is what Rafa plays a lot. He plays that free role up top, right behind the striker. I think Leonardo could play that role. So there'll be plenty of options for Roger Schmidt, or whomever the coach may be at the time.
Yeah.
If Rafa does decide to walk away.
Yeah. Boa noite, Jason. Tony Fix says, well, Alfredo, os macacos estão todos na cela. That's the truth. Ricardo Teixeira, boa noite, 4 da manhã aqui em França. Bonjour, monsieur. Bruno Gil Rodrigues says, Carreira will start against Vizela. Boris saying, if Benfica F up in the Taça, like the Taça in the league, I will get mad. Yeah, we'll all get mad. Diogo Reis says, Sporting also benefited from delaying the game when 3 or 4 players were on yellows. Now they're okay to play Braga next. Lagartos can cry me a river. Yeah, we all know what happens there. What else? The man with the bonnet is now at Guimarães Sunday, says Bruno Gil Rodrigues. Ricardo Teixeira says we cannot enter to see what happens. We need to enter strong and try to take care of business in the first half. Sure, we need Carreras to pick up playing time. Yeah, I agree. Diogo Reis says, anyone else wondering what's in the chemicals from Otamendi's hair dye? He's looked off since New Year. Yeah, I think that he's been very off since that Christmas break that he's had. And look, I don't know if that means anything, but I think that you're entering the second half of the season. There's probably conversations in terms of where he's going to end up next season. I'm not saying that he's a guy that hasn't been around for quite some time, that knows to keep his focus and knows that his attention shouldn't get detracted from the task at hand. But yeah, we have seen a little bit of a drop off. Carlos Amaro is saying, I'm always amused by guys who concern themselves with the team's purse. We're here to scream our wish list. Leave the ledger to the paper pushers in the cellar. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be for Benfica's financial department to figure it out in terms of budget, in terms of wages. All of that needs to be taken into consideration when negotiating. I think that if it was an easy negotiation, maybe Benfica is pulled the trigger already and had done it. But we'll wait. We'll wait to see. Just real quick, I wanted to talk about the February, which is going to be super busy for Benfica, right? And so we've already played Gil Vicente. Now we got Vizela on the 8th, Vitoria on the 11th. We got the first leg at Stade de Luz against Toulouse in the Europa League on the 15th. Then we host Vizela for the league on the 18th. Then we go to France to play Toulouse on the 22nd. And we finish out the month against Portimonense at Stade de Luz on the 25th. So an extremely, extremely busy month for Benfica. Granted, when you look at the difficulty of games, on paper at least, there's a couple of hard fixtures. I think that Toulouse is not going to be the walk in the park that everybody thinks that it's going to be. And then this Vitoria game, I'm a little bit concerned about the Vitoria. I hope that we're able to go up there and win this game. Games against Zé do Boné 2.0 at Vitoria are always tricky.
We were correct. É da Boina, não é Boné.
Zé da Boina.
Ricardo Teixeira said it, and I think it's uma boina. Não é o treinador do boné. Uma boina. O treinador da boina.
O Zé Boné, o Zé dos Bonés.
Bro, for me, I came to the United States when I was a little kid. From boné, boina, para mim é tudo a mesma coisa, bro. I know it's wrong, but
no, I think
it's something you put on your head.
Zé do Boné, it was Mota, right? It was Mota. He was the one that always wore the boné. with the advertising. I don't know. Look, I think that as I mentioned, important game for Benfica at Vitoria. We got to get past Vizela first, and we got Toulouse. We can't really think past Toulouse. I think that there needs to, if Benfica has aspirations to go far in the Europa League, and we'll talk about that when it comes closer. I think that you have to approach every single game with the professionalism and the most serious. We'll see what happens, but just really quick on that Ericsson, that Boris question that Boris had in terms of should Benfica do something for Ericsson while he's alive, and obviously, yeah. And I think that the club has things in place already to be able to do something like that. I don't know if it was the Orege that was saying that his health is not the best right now. The family's a little leery about traveling and putting him on a plane. So I certainly understand that, but I don't think that.
Bro, Portugal is a country of navigators and conquistadores. Send them the Pinta de Minas and Santa Maria.
Manda as caravelas à Suécia, pá.
Manda las caravelas, pá. It's not the first time.
I think that Benfica will do something nice if he can't come to Estádio da Luz. Benfica will go there. Like Benfica was in.
Yeah, but do it while he's alive.
He's alive,
People
right?
Correct.
Right.
It's
now, absolutely right.
Not when he's gone, man. Do it now. Obviously, he's not in a good condition, but as time goes on, he's only going to get worse. So do it now, man. Do it while the man still can. Enjoy it and feel the love and cherish these moments for his last living days. I think Benfica will do something. My only question is, will it be too late? So let's hope they're listening, man. They take care of it ASAP.
Yeah, no, and look, I think that if you guys haven't had a Cristiano and I a couple of years ago, we had the pleasure of interviewing Ericsson for Benfica Independent in when we were celebrating the club's anniversary. And if you haven't had a chance, please check that out. It was really good. We were extremely honored and flattered to be speaking to a man that we remember from our younger years as being somebody that was pivotal in terms of the growth of Benfica into the international game. He brought a new level of coaching, new ideas. He also had great players, but his ideas and his methods were what propelled Benfica forward. And it was with that tenure at Benfica that Ericsson gained fame throughout the world, and he went on to do great things in Italy. He coached several national teams. So he's an established guy. He's a legend in the game in terms of coaching when it comes to coaching. And we were extremely honored and grateful that we were able to have that opportunity with him. I'm going to post the link on the chat right now. So if you guys want to check out that interview between Ericsson, myself, and Cristiano that we did 2 years ago, by all means, do that. If you don't get the link from the chat, just go on YouTube and put Benfica Independent and Ericsson, and that will pop up, and get a chance to watch that, because
I had to pinch myself, Alfredo, because growing up, he came in '83. I was very young at the time, and then obviously his second stint leading Benfica back to the Champions League finals against Milan. And bro, when you're a little kid, as you're growing up, it's not that these people aren't important, but in your mind, you make them even bigger than what they are. And Ericsson deserves all the respect and love and affection from us Benfiquistas, but he was even bigger than to me, it was like Treinador de Benfica. There was nothing bigger at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then we had the opportunity to speak to him, and I had to pinch myself, and it was just one of those moments I'll never forget for the rest of my life, especially when it comes to Benfica. Obviously, there's things more important, but in my Benfiquismo, there's not many things I'll put over that. It was just fantastic. It was great to have the opportunity to speak to a guy that I'm pretty sure you're a little bit older than me, but I'm pretty sure it was the same thing in terms of Aquilo. The man was everything to us. You know what I mean? He was trainer of the Benfica. There was no bigger figure at the time, and so it was great to do. But it's a pity that he's going through what he's going now.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of us, man, we're here today. Amanhã, we don't know where we're at. So cherish and value the people while you can, not when they're gone, man. You know what I mean? So it's a pity that we're going through this and that he's going through this. But hopefully Benfica and the Benfiquistas around the world, and not just Benfiquistas, man, the England fans, the Lazio fans, and every team he coached should really be giving this guy the love and affection that he deserves, because he was a spectacular coach, well-mannered. He wasn't one of those coaches, because you get to see that today. Today in football, you have coaches who are great coaches, but piece of shit people. They don't know how to talk. And then there's guys that could talk. They're beautiful talkers, but don't know shit about the game. He was a guy that actually combined the two of them. He was a gentleman, knew how to speak, could get his teams to play football. And people like that should be cherished, because they're going by the wayside nowadays, because everybody now wants to be on social media, make a clip.
Yeah. We I don't know if you recall, but Cristiano and I get up early. I think the interview was like at 5 a.m. or something like that, so we could be
something like that
within his time zone. And we asked him interesting questions in terms of, what was the locker room like? What was Shalana like? He gave us our opinion on several players, and it was good to kind of reminisce about those times of Benfica. And Cristiano and I both were young at that time, and Carlos was saying too that he would have acted like a schoolgirl had he been there. But it was just it's this figure, right? That's at the helm of some of the best Benfica teams we have seen in our lifetime, both Cristiano and I, and a lot of you. Boris is saying that he was born in Sweden, and he remembers Eriksson at IFK Gothenburg, which is where I believe he got his professional start, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was an extremely engaging conversation, went by fast, relaxed conversation, didn't hold anything back. Was really good, man. It was really good. And
you know what stuck with me, Alfredo? Last time I interrupt you, right? Because I don't want to talk no more. Cause you could drive it down. Could drive it home. But what stuck with me from that interview, as I mentioned before, he coached England, coached some of the best players in the world, coached in World Cups. But the joy that he remembered and he recollected the moments at Benfica, that stuck with me, man. Because he's coached many great players, many great teams. But you can tell he enjoyed his time at Benfica. He had a sorriso on his face.
Yeah.
And that made me feel good. That made me like, wow. Benfica really was what, in my head at the time, what I thought it was, it must have really been exactly like that, because here's a guy that's been to the top of the mountain and he's talking about Benfica with this love and this, great memories that we all had as kids, and he's just portraying it back to us. It was just something I'll never forget, man. So
it was a great interview, man, and we had a great time. And like I said, we were incredibly humbled by the whole experience and honored to have had the chance to speak to him. And I've been, I still have his phone number, but I've been meaning to send him a message, but at this point, you really don't know what to say, and he's gotten a lot of those. But he's a guy that we've made this memory with, and that we have this memory of, in terms of Benfica in those years and those teams, and Chalana, Magnussen, Stromberg, great Benfica teams of the '80s that went to finals. So we were incredibly proud. So if you have a chance, man, check that out, man. I think I'm gonna rewatch it at some point within the next few days, because I remember having a good time and being very humbled by the whole situation. Anyway, that is all we got for you today. Thank you, everyone that joined us. Carlos says life isn't for lament; it's for celebration. We celebrate his life. No one gets out of here alive. Yeah. Look, I think that the celebrating people and honoring people is to be done while they're young or while they're alive, not when they're dead. Because I think oftentimes, despite them understanding who they are as a human being, um, they don't always grasp how loved they are, and how cherished they are, and how many good memories they're associated with. And I think that once you have a celebration of somebody like that, I think that that's when a lot of people come out and just spill whatever their feelings are, whatever their emotions are, whatever their opinions are on an individual. So it's important, that we honor those individuals in life, that we show them how much it really means to everyone, to the club and to the players and to the people that worked at the club at that time. So I think that it's a nice gesture if Benfica can make it happen and have that celebration of Ericsson when he's still alive. And that's it. That's all we got. Next week we'll be back. We'll break down these two games, Vizela and Guimarães, and look ahead to what's up next. Dave couldn't be with us, but Cristiano was here at least, so it was a good thing. It was a good day. Cristiano, anything else you wanted to add before we go?
Nope. No, I mean, I shouldn't say no. What you just said doesn't only go for public figures. It goes for your family members, your loved ones. So cherish the people while they still know that they mean something to you while they're still here, rather than when they're gone. So it's just a lesson for all of us, man. I lost my dad at a young age, and there isn't a day that doesn't go by that I wish that I had an opportunity to say something to him. And I actually did. I got to tell him I love him, the whole nine, the whole stuff, before he went. But there's a lot of people that don't get that opportunity. So if you're listening to us, man, do yourselves a favor, because you don't want to live with that inside you for the rest of your life. So cherish the people that mean a lot to you. Let them know while they're here, rather than when they're gone. And I'm not trying to make this sadder than what it is, because obviously we're talking about Ericsson, but just wanted to let everybody know that it's a broader thing. It's not just for celebrities and coaches; it goes for everyone else. So, até para a semana, carrega Benfica. Let's win this damn Taça Portugal. Let's get a step further, because we need to bring another one of those trophies to the trophy cabinet, because there's very few of them at their side of the loose.
Yep, that's right. Thank you very much to all the Freddies and everyone that watched this live, but didn't participate in the chat. Thank you everyone that participated in the chat. It was entertaining conversation, and thank you to all of you that are going to listen later. We appreciate you so much. Have a great one. Treat each other well. Have a great one, and we'll see you again next week.